Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sir Umlas. I am Jessa, and my team will now talk about strategy and strategic planning. So, what is strategy? So, what does it mean? But first, I would like to share with you where strategy derived from. Based on my research, strategy is derived from the Greek word strategos. Stratus meaning army, and ego meaning is leading or moving. And it tells it that the during the age of Athenian democracy, they refer to this as military commander, so that they call this as the art of the general. It is about leading their army and making steps to win their battle. If you recognize or you could recall and remember the Greek movie Troy that led by the actor Brad Pitt. On that movie, the Greeks built and used a big wooden horse during the Trojan War. So they will enter to the city of Troy and win the war. And that is one of the sample of strategy they used. The Greeks planned their action, designed that big wooden horse, and no one knows that there are more or several army inside of that horse, that wooden horse. So because they have a goal, they have a specific goal to achieve that goal, and that is to defeat and conquer the city of Troy. So what is a strategy? So let's see what strategy means. Strategy is an action that managers take to attain one or more of the organization's goals. It is a process of translating perceived opportunity into successful outcomes by means of purposive action sustained over a significant period of time. Okay, I'll use an example to help and understand. If you want to build a business or you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must have to achieve one or more of the organization's objectives. You must take an action. You must have a general direction for your business. Just like what I said while ago about the Greek movie Troy. In business strategy, according to Alfred Chandler, the first contemporary business strategy thinker, he described the business strategy as the determination of an enterprise's core, long-term goals and objectives, as well as the choice of courses of action and the allocation of resources necessary to achieve those goals. So it means that you must be determined. You must be determined not for the short term, but you want your business to accomplish a goal, to win that goal, and to have a successful business, not for a short term, but for a long term. So you must choose courses of action. You must have strategy. You have skills to make it, to achieve those goals. So in short, the strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a specific goal. It is a method of converting observed opportunity into effective outcomes over a long period of time by taking a significant steps. So hindi basta-basta when you enter a business or a business, no? You must have a plan. You have a very effective goal. You have effective outcome to achieve those opportunity, and that is a strategy. So let's proceed to strategic management. So we know na yung strategy. So let's go to strategic management. So let's define first what is strategic management. Strategic management can be defined as the art and science of formulating, implementing, and evaluating cross-functional decisions that enable an organization to achieve its objectives. The term strategic management is used synonymously with the term strategic planning. So in business, even in life, we need strategic management. We need a method. We need to provide skills that can help ourselves, can help our company or business to meet our needs, to meet our client needs, the customer needs. All of our strategies need to be carefully thought out and planned. What I've said about the strategy. So before we enter and before we implemented. In other words, it implies the same idea as strategic planning. And there's also a role and purpose in strategic management. Okay, first, the role of strategic management. The role of strategic management incorporate various functional areas of the organization completely. What does it mean? The role of strategic management is to combine the marketing, operations, human resources, and finance in a firm. It also involves innovative thinking, a strategic planning process, and operational strategizing. Role of strategic management: keep a continuous eye on the goals and objectives of the organization. So be focused, concentrate. Even in our business roles, we must focus on our objectives, whatever the prize or goal. It is important that we learn to maintain our focus in that situation. How about purpose of strategic management? Purpose of strategic management: to exploit and create new different opportunities for tomorrow. Long range planning, in contrast to, tries to optimize for tomorrow the trends of today. It tells that as an entrepreneur, our purpose was to identify and develop new changes for the future to optimize an organization's strength while minimizing competitors' strength. It means when you said organization, this is your business, this is your people, your organization, your business, your firm. So you must optimize your strength you while minimizing your competitor's strength, and to assist organizations in gaining or improving brand awareness, increasing revenue, and attaining long-term business goals.
Thank you, Miss Jessa. Strategic management is the most common way of defining objective system and target to make an organization or association more aggressive. There has three types of strategy. One is the strategy formulation, refers to the process of choosing the most appropriate course of action for the realization of organizational goals and objectives, and thereby achieving the organizational vision. It allows an organization to examine its resources, design the best effective action plan for improving revenues, and create a financial strategy. The second strategy is the implementation. This is the process of putting plans into action in order to achieve a goal. Strategy implementation within our corporate environment. This could entail creating and implementing a new marketing strategy to help improve consumer sales of the company's product. Last is the strategy evaluation. This is the method through which management evaluates how successfully a chosen strategy has been implemented and whether the strategy has been successful or not. Reviewing and evaluating the strategy implementation process, as well as monitoring organizational performance.
In terms of integrating intuition and analysis, the strategic management process is a method for making important decisions in an organization that is objective, logical, and systematic. In situations where there is a lot of uncertainty or no precedent, intuition helps a lot. In terms of adapting to change, the strategic management process is focused on the idea that organizations should regularly evaluate internal and external events and trends in order to make timely changes as needed. It is the process of successfully transitioning from one method of doing things to another way of doing things.
And now, let's proceed to the 9 key terms that is needed to be considered in strategic management. First is the competitive advantage. This can be defined from the word itself competitive. It allows a company to produce goods or services better or cheaper than its competitors, and it can generate more sales to its market rivals. Competitive advantage are attributed to a variety of factors including cost structure, branding, the quality of product offerings, and customer service. For example, if a company advertises a product for a price that's lower than a similar product from a competitor, that company is likely to have a competitive advantage. Such as the gasoline stations, they offer different prices on their fuels. Some stations created a slogan that they says they have a cheaper prices in order to attract customers and make their sales a lot better than the others. Another example is choosing a great geographical location that can easily reach the market. As we all know, location is an important thing in building business. It can significantly boost a company's long-term performance. Next is the strategists. They are the individuals who are most responsible for the success or failure of an organization. They are the one who is skilled in planning the best way to gain an advantage or to achieve success. The people considered to be strategists were Chief Executive Officer, President, Owner, Chair of the Board, Executive Director, Chancellor, Dean, or just simply entrepreneur. Because they are the one who creates and implements the strategies in order to make the company or business successful. Moving on to the mission and vision statements. This is where the organization summarizes their goals and objectives. The vision outlines what a company wants to be in the future, while the mission describes the company on why they are in that industry and what they want to do now. An example of this is the mission and vision of Jollibee. Their vision is to be one of the top 5 restaurant companies in the world, while their mission is to serve great tasting food, bringing the joy of eating to everyone. This example clearly shows that the vision is the goal in the future, and the mission is a roadmap on how you will achieve the goal you set in the vision. Furthermore is the external opportunities and threats. These two were considered external because these are the things that is going on outside the company. External opportunities provides an organization with the means to improve its performance and competitive advantage in a market environment. Example of this is having the opportunity to expand a franchise into a new city, like Jollibee and McDonald's. They have a lot of stores in different sides of the world nowadays. Then, the external threats. External threats are anything from the organization's outside environment that can affect the performance or achievement of the goals. Example of external threats includes new and existing regulation, new and existing competitors, but sometimes you can turn a threat into an opportunity. Example of this is what we're facing right now, the pandemic. There are stores that were closed due to the lockdown, but when you think twice about it, it can also be an opportunity to do online businesses, which can generate more sales than the previous ones, because selling online have a greater audience, and a greater audience leads to a greater profit.
And now, we have internal strength and weaknesses. When we say internal, it is inside the organization. So what are these? These are the controllable activities in the organization. Strength is the strong point of an organization. It pertains to the firm's source of competitive advantage that it can use in the market. For example, product innovation, smooth supply management, and strong employee attitudes. These can be found inside the organization. On the other hand, weaknesses are something that might put the company in disadvantageous positions. For example, poor marketing. Yes, we have product innovation, but we also have poor marketing. That is a weakness. And also, over complexity of our products and the services we rendered. People might not understand what are our products and services. Distinguishing and analyzing the internal strengths and weaknesses of our functional areas in the business is essential. Why? Because it can make or break the organization. Strengths and weaknesses are assessed in comparison to our competitors. We compare our own organization to our competitors in order to know what are our strengths and weaknesses. Next, we have long-term objectives. These are the specific outcomes that an organization seeks to achieve in able to obtain out its mission over a period of 5 years or more. 5 years or more because as what the title says, it is long-term. It means it is to be accomplished for a long period of time. Long-term objectives usually state direction, aid in evaluation, reveal priorities, focus coordination, and provide a basis for effective planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling activities. So what are the qualities of long-term objectives? First, it must be flexible. Objectives must be adaptable to unforeseen and extraordinary changes in the organization. Second, it is measurable. Objectives must be clearly and concretely stated on what will be achieved and when it will be achieved. Third, it should be motivating. Employees tend to be more motivated if their objectives is clear, right? Fourth, it must be suitable. Objectives must be suitable to the goal of the organization, right? Because it makes no sense if your objectives is not suitable to the goal of the organizations. And lastly, it must be understandable so that all of the employees understand what the objectives really are. Now, let's move on to strategies. Strategies entails on determining the organization's long-term objectives and planning on a course of action. A strategy involves combining all activities in organization as well as how to allocate and utilize the resources within the firm in order to meet the objectives. There are types of strategies. First is the competitive strategy, which aims at gaining a competitive advantage in the marketplace against competitors, of course. Competitive advantage comes from the strategies that lead to some uniqueness in the market. This strategy focuses on gaining the competitive advantage from the competitors. Second is corporate strategy. Corporate strategy defines the long-term objectives and generally affects all of the business units under its umbrella. It draws up to the top level by the senior management to a diversified company. The parent company assesses the performance of each business units. Based on its findings, the company acquires and diverts assets and allocates the resources to the business units. Third is the business strategy, where it is popularly known as the business unit strategy, which emphasizes the building up of the company's competitive position of products and services. Its main focus is product development, innovation, integration, market development, and diversification of the products and services we rendered. Fourth, we have the functional strategy, which refers to an approach that points up a particular functional area of an organization. It sets down to achieve some objectives of a business unit by maximizing resources productivity. Well, it means this strategy is focused on the functional areas of the business. For example, the marketing department, this strategy is for them and also on other departments of the organization. And last strategy is the operating strategy, which is concerned with the development of a long-term plan for determining how to best utilize the major resources of the firm so that there is a high degree of compatibility between these resources and the firm's long-term corporate strategy. In this strategy, focuses on the operations, on where and how the resources will be utilized. Aside from the long-term objectives, we have the annual objectives, where the company's short-term goals that must be accomplished within a calendar year. It is just part of the organization's long-term goals. So these annual objectives are under the long-term objectives, where it is to be accomplished within a year. Well, annual objectives must be SMART. S, For specific, the objectives should be concrete, detailed, and well defined so that you know where you are going and what to expect when you arrive. M. For measurable. Numbers and quantities provide means of measurement and comparison. A. Achievable. Feasible and easy to put into action. R. For realistic. The objectives should consider constraints such as the resources, personnel, costs, and the time frame. And lastly, time bound. A time frame helps to set boundaries around the objective. And of course, we should never forget the policies or the guides to decision making and address the repetitive or reoccurring situations inside the organization. It includes the guidelines, rules, and procedures that have been established to support efforts in order to achieve the stated objectives. All organization has policies in all of their functional areas. Why? Because it helps them to stay grounded to their objectives and goals. For example, in the HR department, we have set of rules and guidelines on how they will pick the employees of the organization. Of course, they will check the curriculum vitae or the resume of the applicant in order to know if they are fit for the job description of that open position.
Lesson 3. Strategic Management Model. The strategic management process can be best studied and applied using a model. Every model represents some kind of process. The framework illustrated in figure number 1 is widely accepted comprehensive model of strategic management process. This model doesn't guarantee success, but it does represent a clear and practical approach for formulating, implementing, and evaluating strategies. This model is not sure that you will be successful in formulating a strategies, but it will help an organization to formulate, implement, and evaluate the strategies that they will choose. This model describes as a strategic tool to enhance the vision, mission, objectives, and different strategy choices. It also involves in examining the internal and external environment for the application of the strategy in the business, meaning that it will help the organization to improve their vision, mission, and their objectives with the use of different strategy choices. As we can see, the comprehensive model of strategic management process has many different activities, and these activities is grouped in 3 stages. The first stage is the strategy formulation, the second stage is the strategy implementation, and the third and final stage is the strategy evaluation. Let's talk about the first stage, the strategy formulation. Strategy formulation is the process of selecting the most appropriate course of action for achieving organizational goals and objectives, and so achieving organizational vision. The first activity in the first stage is develop vision and mission statement. Organizations need to develop their vision and mission statement because it will be their guide for making quality decisions while achieving their goal. The vision is what the organization want to become in the future, and the mission is the reason why the organization is working. Every organization have their own vision and mission, just like our university. The second activity is perform external audit. By performing external audit, the organization can identify the threats and opportunities of the organization. By identifying the threats in an organization, they can be ready in case the threat happens, and when they identify their opportunities, they can use it to become successful in the future. And the third activity is perform internal audit. By performing internal audit, the organization can identify their strengths and weaknesses. When the organization identify their strengths and weaknesses, they will be able to identify what are the things they need to improve and the things they need to maintain. And fourth activity in this stage is establish long-term objectives. This means organizing a long-term goals and plans for the organization. Uh, this will help the organization to visualize the possible barriers that so that they can be prepared in the future. And fifth and final activity, generate, evaluate, and select strategy. This is the process where the organizations generate alternative strategies for their objectives, evaluate it, and select the appropriate strategies for their organization. Uh, the organizations will make a different strategies, and they will evaluate it, and then they will choose the best strategies that they can use to achieve their specific goals and objectives. The the next stage is the strategy implementation. This is the process of putting plans into action to achieve a desired result. It is in essence the art of getting things done. Every organization's ability to make choice and carry out crucial operations effectively and consistently is critical to its success. It is the stage where they will put action to their strategies to accomplish their goals and objectives. The first activity in this stage is implement strategies management issues. Implementation of strategies would not be easy if there is a problem in the management. That's why they need to fix it first before they proceed to the next step. Uh, one of the common uh, One of the common management issues is the relationship between employees. The organizations will fix the relationship to their employees because if time comes, it can be a threat to their organizations in the future. They need to influence their employees with skills and motivate them so that it can help them to improve their work. Next activity in this stage is implement strategies, marketing, finance, accounting, and MIS issues. The organization implements their strategies in different departments of the organization to see if it can solve problems. For example, in marketing, a good strategy implementation will allow the organization to prioritize their project and make sure that crucial tasks are done on time or finished on time. And in finance or accounting issues, a good strategy implementation can help the organization to acquire needed capital and prepared financial budgets. And in research and development, uh, it will help the organization to produce new products and improve their existing products. And in MIS issues, a good strategy implementation can help the organization to have an effective management information system. And the third and final stage is the strategy evaluation. It is the process by which the organization examines how well a chosen strategy has been implemented and whether the strategy has been successful or not. It is the stage where the organization will know if their chosen strategies become successful or not. And it is consist of one activity: measure and evaluate performance. In this step, all the information will be collected and the organization will monitor how the strategy is doing. In performance measurements, the organization will monitor and report the progress of their strategy, and in performance evaluation, they will use analysis to answer specific questions about how well is the performance. Uh, the organization must be aware of the two issues that can impact all the activities: the global and international issues, and business ethics, social responsibility, and environmental sustainability issues. The global and international issues, the organizations need to understand their competitors, the markets, the prices, the governments, the creditors, and shareholders. And in business ethics, social responsibility, and environmental sustainability issues, in business ethics, the organizations need to study appropriate business policies and practices. And in social responsibility, the organization should act in a manner that will benefit the society. And in the environmental sustainability, the organization must make responsible decisions that will have negative impact on the environment. There are three important questions to answer in developing a strategic plan. The first question is, where are we now? They need to know what is the condition and the position of their organization. And the second is, where do we want to go? It is the specific or target objectives and goals of the organization. And the final question is, how are we going to get there? It is the action they need to implement or do to accomplish a certain objectives or goal.
Starting point for strategic management. Otherwise, it all starts here. For example, without mission and vision. As the mission is the beginning point for planning, the vision is the goal, and the strategic plan is the guide that makes a difference you explore from one to the other. To give you an idea, an economy needs change. It must first to know or be sure whether it will be the long-term goal and strategy of change. Activities should be conducted continuously and not just at the end of the year or semi-annually. The strategic management process never really ends. It means that the strategic management process does not end because it is a decision that is dynamic, because it also helps an organization to make a good decision. This is the end of Module 1. Thank you and God bless us all.